Hey guys, it's Kitty Rose, UK alt model. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. Well, basically, I'm going to be going in there for surgery on the 6th of December at King's College. And so as a little kind of apology and entertainment for my absence, I did a question and answer thingy on my Facebook, like my personal one and my page. And so here's some of the questions for you. So Charmaine's Ego Oliver from my Facebook page, as in me personally, said, if I could be any superhero, who would I be and why? Well, I really didn't have to think about that one. My obvious answer is, of course, Thor. Because, you know, being a demigod and like just straight up incredible. And I've also cosplayed as a female version of him before, so I know I can pull it off. Speaking of which, pulling stuff off, I'm sorry I don't look that great today. I've been for my surgery pre-assessment and they took all my blood. Next, if I could be any alcoholic beverage, what would I be and why? I would be a Godfather, which is a mix of Coke, in my case Diet, Disaronno and Jack Daniels. Because Disaronno's like smooth and likeable, but Jack Daniels often not likeable, so I'm kind of I tend to find I'm quite a love-hate person, like both myself to others and others to me, so I think that's appropriate. And if I could be any soda, what would I be? I would definitely be Fanta Fruit Twist, because like, I don't think a lot of people know about it, but it's amazing once you get there, and yeah. Clearly bigging myself up a little too much there, I probably shouldn't be that confident. Daniel Farman, again off of my personal Facebook, says, who inspires you? And I did actually have this written down somewhere. The answers to that, starting off, yes, everyone's probably pulled this one at some point, is starting off definitely my mum. Because despite some issues that have come to light recently, she always told me I was strong. You know, there were never any autism in our family. Don't ask, don't get. Everything that I basically live by. The next is the owner of a company called Miss Needles, and that is the lovely Tara Price, because she's so sassy. She doesn't let anything get her down. Every day she's gorgeous, she gets up, she gets on with life, and just fair play to her. Next is the model Victoria Morning, because she is just so beautiful and she has such a unique style. Next is the amazing Synthetic Doll. I know there's a big dispute about like whether she's plus size or not. No, she's not. She's a totally normal size. But as someone who is a similar size to her and finds it difficult in a world that, you know, where normal is becoming gradually smaller and smaller and smaller, I find her incredibly motivating at a time like this. My next is Radio Suicide, because except for my boobies, we are pretty much exactly the same measurements, and pretty much every guy that looks at her goes, whoa, so that kind of makes me feel good. Next is a friend of mine, some of you may know her from TV, sorry Siobhan, but next is Von Biohazard. She's just such a lovely person, she pulls off any look, she's out there, she's just amazing and beautiful. Next is, sorry if I say this wrong, Chunzi from, I believe from America again, I'm sorry. Again, just beautiful in everything. Next is fellow model Charmaine's Ego Oliver, who I knew from art college last year, and if it wasn't for her I probably wouldn't be into some of the things I'm currently into. I wouldn't have corset trained. And she really opened me up to like self-discovery a little more. The next one by Danielle was, what animal would you be and why? I'd either be a tiger, because that's kind of like something just between me and my boyfriend. The next one is I'd be a Staffy Triple Terrier, because well, one, I have a Staffy, and two, because of that I know they're very misunderstood. Like they won't start anything. If you go at them, they will come back, and sometimes it comes back to bite you on the arse, and often me defending myself has come back to like hurt me in such a way, but they stay strong. That's just lovely. Next is, what are my guilty music pleasures? Yeah, guilty music pleasures. Well, basically I don't say I have any guilty pleasure when it comes to music, because I like what I listen to and I listen to what I like, you know. But debatably, I did have it all written down, Debatably, it'd be Lady Gaga because I just like Lady Gaga. Nickelback, Creed, because apparently I once found out that my favourite genre is post-grunge Christian rock. The Lord of the Rings soundtrack, McFly, Busted, Michael Bublé, and My Chemical Romance. Personally, I don't think they're guilty pleasures, but I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people out there who'd be like, that's so horrible. Next one by Michael Perry off my personal Facebook page is, if I was a man, what job would I have and why? Well, I'm personally of the belief that, I'm not feminist, I'm not sexist though, I don't think, is that any man or any woman can have the same job. Like, a man can work in a beauty salon, a woman can work on a building site, I don't care what sex you are. Transgender even, I don't care. So, with that in mind, the only thing that could differentiate a man from a woman in the workplace is the fact you have a you-know-what. So, because of that, I would be a male stripper, because that's the only thing I cannot currently be. Paul Affey, again, sorry if I've spelt your name wrong, from my modelling page, says, I do great Alton goth modelling, but what kind of work would be too boring, normal or straight for me? Where do I draw the line? Like for instance, would I do a vintage tea party? I don't have a line. I have jeans and t-shirts like everyone else. I can do high fashion, I believe, with some of the things I do. I can do goth, emo, punk, steampunk, Victorian, normal, high fashion, you name it. I could probably pull it off with some of the stuff I have here. You know, I cosplay and everything. I have plenty of things I'm willing to try a lot. The only place I draw the line is definitely nude. The only time I would ever do shirtless is one, if it was an incredibly private kind of photo shoot, like with a friend for a college portfolio, or there's one me and a fellow model of mine are planning next year to do with eating disorders, and we're going to be very proud, very happy in our shoot, so that may include some topless work. This is one of my personal favourites. Tom Adams, I don't know who he is, on my own Facebook page said, on a level of 100 million to some form of gibberish, how sexy is your boyfriend? Well, simply there's no such number, no such word to describe that, so I can't well say that. Nothing exists to describe how sexy my boyfriend is. Next, by an old friend of mine called Duncan Pina. Again, sorry if I say your names wrong. From my personal Facebook page. If someone was to throw corrosive acid bleach at my face, would life be worth living, or a pretty lick's all I have? Life would definitely still be worth living. The issues I currently have do kind of draw me the other way, but I know obviously you don't feel once you're dead, but prior to that, if I was of the belief life wasn't worth living, I know full well that my boyfriend, my family, my friends, it would be so miserable for them, and I wouldn't want to put the people I love through that. And furthermore, there's plenty of good things in my life, and as much as I'm not like a massive fan of plastic surgery, and the people who you often do see who've had accidents like this are always very humble about what's happened to them, but plastic surgery it is an option, so life would definitely still be worth living. Not because it could get fixed, but because of those around me. Next is by James Hacking, sorry if I say your name wrong again, from my modelling page. If money was no object, what scene from a movie would I tribute in a shoot, like a geeky shoot? One is definitely I'd do Galadriel from Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, because I love everything about those films. And secondly, I would definitely do something from the Avengers, whether that's a Thor or a Black Widow. I'd definitely give both of them a shot. And in reference to geeky photo shoots, I do have Black Milk's original R2 swimsuit on the way, so watch this space. I'm pretty sure I had more, but I appear to have lost them. No, I think that's it. I saved this one for last because it's a bit hefty. It's again from Charmaine on my my page. Why is it I have low self-esteem, and what do I think happened in my life for me to think this way think about myself the way I do? Well, as some of you know, I've been harbouring this up for years. I eventually came out to my mum and went to the GP, and I was told I had an eating disorder. I've narrowed it down to the possibility that it's probably atypical anorexia, which is where you have all the mental symptoms of anorexia, but your weight still remains healthy. It's kind of annoying because you kind of sit there thinking like, great, I'm fat and I've got the mental issue. No, I'm not fat, but that's kind of the annoying thing. I've got the rational part of my brain battling against the anorexic side of my brain all the time. But the reason I have such low self-esteem, it started about 3 years ago, which is when I joined sixth form, so I kind of put it down to at each new beginning, it really triggered me. So at the beginning of sixth form, I obviously knew some people, but I wouldn't know all of them, so I thought I could reinvent myself. Year 13, you felt a bit more grown up, I could reinvent myself. The year I met Charmaine in art college, I could totally reinvent myself. I knew about 3 people, and then one by one they dropped out. And then this year I knew nobody. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be great if each time I could get smaller and smaller and smaller. Basically, over the years I ended up looking around rooms and thinking, oh, I'm the biggest person here. I can't really pinpoint a specific point in time, but that's like my main triggers. And so therefore, you know, that's what in my life. And I just like to say to people that it is normal to feel like this. Everyone feels like it in some way. Obviously it's exacerbated from person to person, everyone deals with it differently. If you do feel you have an eating disorder or troubles with food, an unhealthy relationship with food, exercise, whatever, please talk to someone. Literally the second I told my mum and we told my GP, it felt so nice. And since then I've been a lot happier. I'm not saying it's got easier, but I haven't had any therapy yet. I'm being transferred to an eating disorder clinic in King's in London. It's called the Maudsley, but it's by King's. And if that fails, like they feel my case isn't severe enough, or I get discharged, I get put across to a cognitive behavioural therapist, because I'm also quite paranoid, and it's just not, if they think it's not severe enough, this person will like help me order my thoughts, you know, get rid of bad ones, all such. So yeah, if anyone does actually have any further questions about the current issues I'm experiencing, please feel free to ask about it. I'm not shy. I like to think that my own experiences can help other people, because I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, to be quite frank. It's a very horrible feeling. One day you'll be up, one day you'll be down, and there's always this constant part of your brain telling you you're not good enough, and no one should ever have to live with that. So if you have any questions, any queries, I'm not a doctor, you should probably talk to your doctor about it, but by all means drop me a message. I'm nice enough, I like to think. Feel free to like my page, Kitty Rose, brackets, or model -UK and bracket. You can find me personally through there. I'm fairly normal. You see this, like my everyday crap, my room's not tidy, barely any makeup, you get the drift. And pretty much that is all the questions I had, but I'm up for a couple more if you want, because it was quite fun thinking of some of them, particularly the male stripper one. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. Kitty Rose, say.